Welcome to the Central Bank of Kuwait's podcast that discusses the most prominent economic and financial issues and developments in the state of Kuwait and the world, and aims to raise awareness about the most important economic concepts and topical issues that affect the lives of individuals and society. This is your host, Sheikh Al-Rufai. Today's episode highlights a pivotal publication, which is the Central Bank of Kuwait's annual report for fiscal year 2024-2025. Shifa Al-Awadi is with us today to discuss the highlights of the report and answer our questions. Welcome, Shifa.
Welcome to all our listeners and thank you for having me.
Before we dive into the details of this report, let's start with an introductory question. What is an annual report?
Overall, an annual report is a document issued after the end of an institution's fiscal year and includes the audited financial statements and an external auditor's report, in addition to analytical explanation of the institution's performance during the financial year, including its activities, achievements, and challenges. Such reports reflect the extent of transparency and corporate governance and represent a channel of communication between the institution and the community and stakeholders.
So moving forward, what entities publish annual reports?
It's fairly standard, so the majority of international and local institutions publish annual reports. In Kuwait, besides CBK, other government institutions publish annual reports, such as Capital Markets Authority, Kuwait Petroleum Corporation, and Kuwait Direct Investment Promotion Authority. Additionally, the private sector like banks, investment companies, and others publish annual reports.
Before we explore the details of CBK's annual report, I think it would be helpful if you would remind our listeners of the nature of CBK's mandates and the role it plays.
Thank you, Sheikha, for suggesting this background, as this will make it easier for us later when we get into the details of CBK's annual report. Many people think that the central bank is similar to other banks, but it is not. The central bank is the entity that regulates the work of all banks and ensures that the financial system in the country is stable and safe. It is the country's banking regulator.
So how does it carry out its mandate?
The Central Bank of Kuwait was established by virtue of the Law No. 32 of 1968 concerning currency, the Central Bank of Kuwait, and the regulation of banking. This law sets out the general framework of the bank's role in managing monetary policy and regulating the work of banks within the country. Here are 6 of the most prominent activities. Firstly, maintaining monetary and financial stability, in other words, ensuring price stability, that the Kuwaiti dinar retains its value and that the banking sector continues to operate confidently, even in times of crisis. Second, issuing the national currency. CBK is the only entity authorized to issue the Kuwaiti dinar that we all use regularly. Third, serving as a banker to the government. This means that government agencies deal with the central bank with regards to their accounts and payments, just as we individually deal with our local banks. Fourth, supervising the state's banking system to ensure the safety of their transactions and to protect customers' funds. Fifth, developing payment systems inside Kuwait to ensure that transfers and e-payments are safe and fast. Sixth, serving as a financial advisor to the government on economic issues and financial policies. But CBK's role does not end here, because its tasks evolve with the development of the economy and the banking sector, under the concept of maintaining the stability of the Kuwaiti dinar and the public confidence in the Kuwaiti financial system.
Thanks for the clarification on CBK's mandates. Now, let's get to the heart of today's topic, which is CBK's new annual report. The bank's latest report covered the last fiscal year 2024-2025, right?
That's right. It covered the period between April 1st, 2024 and March 31st, 2025.
What are the main topics the report covered this year?
The report addresses a number of integrated topics that represent CBK's work and mandates, which we just discussed. It also provides an overview of the central bank's role in supporting the economy, especially amid the ongoing global and regional challenges.
So let's go into more details, Shifa. What do you mean by global and regional challenges?
Sure, Sheikha. What I mean by global and regional challenges are the significant global economic changes seen during the reporting period, including geopolitical tensions and volatile oil prices. Some countries experienced slower growth and inflation eased in most countries, but interest rates remained high despite that some countries have started to cut rates. With all these changes, CBK focused on monitoring the situation and took steps to ensure the stability of the Kuwaiti dinar and prices, and maintaining strength and resilience of the Kuwaiti financial system.
So how did the central bank deal with these changes in terms of stability of the Kuwaiti dinar?
Well, The central bank has a balanced and gradual monetary policy aimed at maintaining the stability of the Kuwaiti dinar exchange rate and controlling inflation rates, in parallel with supporting economic activity. The report reveals that the adoption of this policy enables the central bank to maintain the relative stability of the Kuwaiti dinar's exchange rate, as the difference between the highest and lowest exchange rate of the US dollar against the Kuwaiti dinar stands at 1.4%, while the volatility of the US dollar against major currencies was wider.
That's interesting. Would you please elaborate on this point?
Yes, so during the year, the exchange rate of the Kuwaiti dinar against the US dollar was relatively constant. The highest and lowest levels of the price differed only by a very narrow margin, about 1.5%. That is, if we assume that $1 would be exchanged for 1 dinar, the difference would not exceed 1.5 fils. This stability demonstrates that the policy of the central bank has maintained the strength of the dinar and the public confidence in it, compared to other currencies that experienced greater fluctuations.
So what about CBK's role in supervising banks and financial institutions?
Banking supervision has always been a key mandate of the Central Bank of Kuwait. By adopting a risk-based approach, supervision has become more proactive and is based on accurate analysis that identifies strengths and weaknesses of the financial system, and the interventions needed to address weaknesses. The bank also developed off-site and on-site supervision tools and continued to issue regulatory instructions, including those related to governance, disclosure, and financial technologies. Also, notable developments include the launch of benchmarks such as the Konya Index, which promotes transparency in the money market. The central bank also continued its efforts in combating money laundering and terrorist financing by updating regulatory instructions and organizing awareness workshops. CBK also plays its role in monitoring financial innovation and has launched initiatives to improve digital governance, reflecting its commitment to applying international standards and modernizing the banking environment to keep pace with technological and supervisory transformations.
Let's talk more about digital transformation. What has CBK done in this context?
CBK launched the Initiatives Accelerator program through the innovation hub named Wuluj to support Kuwaiti entrepreneurs with innovative ideas in the financial sector. The program focuses on important issues such as financial inclusion, digital transformation, cybersecurity, and innovative payment services. Furthermore, the bank promotes innovation and digital transformation and stimulates artificial intelligence and blockchain applications in banking activities. The bank also extended working hours of the e-payment system, improved technological infrastructure, and supported cybersecurity, thus improving the customer experience and speeding up the execution of transactions.
What about CBK's human capital and community awareness activities?
In this area, CBK is focused on qualifying and developing national talents through initiatives such as Kafa'a, scholarship programs, and specialized training locally and internationally. In terms of raising awareness about financial literacy and fraud prevention, CBK's Diraya campaign, also known as Let's Be Aware, continues its outreach efforts. In addition, a number of workshops and forums were organized for students, graduates, and those interested in economic affairs.
You mentioned the Kafa'a initiative. Would you give us a quick overview of this initiative?
The Kafa'a initiative is presented by CBK in cooperation with local banks through Kuwait Institute of Banking Studies. It aims to equip and qualify Kuwaiti youth to work in the banking sector through training programs and specialized courses that raise their efficiency and help them be future leaders in the financial field. The initiative includes advanced training programs, some in collaboration with international entities covering various areas such as information security, risk management, and banking leadership.
Finally, Shifa, is there a message that you would like to convey to our listeners regarding our topic today?
Yes, CBK's annual report mirrors an important part of the real economy and the policies that affect people's lives. Familiarizing the community with it enhances financial and economic literacy and contributes to understanding the roles of national institutions such as the Central Bank of Kuwait.
As we've reached the end of our time today, I'd like to thank you for the overview of CBK's annual report.
Thank you, Sheikha, and I hope our listeners value the insights of CBK's annual report and the efforts made by the Central Bank of Kuwait in achieving its national goals.
Thank you for listening, and for more details, you can download the full annual report on CBK's official website. This was your host, Sheikha Rufai. Hope you join us in upcoming episodes of CBK's podcast.